fat ass mole.
Fat face mole. You better rack off your mole. Dumb mole. Dumb mole.
Dumb mole.
Dumb mole. Shut up, you mole.
Shut up, mole.
Yeah, you mole.
Such a mole.
Welcome to Mole Patrol!
What's up, Mo?
Today we are covering motor moles.
Motor moles, vroom vroom. Do you drive, Mo?
I do. Multiple vehicles, if you don't mind.
Oh, multiple.
Yeah.
Two-wheeler, four-wheeler,
Both,
three-wheeler.
but my two-wheeler has been in a garage for like probably a year because the weather's so bad in Ireland I can't take it out.
What do you have? Do you have a motorbike?
I have an old motorbike, a 1992 CB Honda that's been converted into a cafe racer that is not the most legalist to drive.
Okay. That means jargon to me. Like, that just sounds like you're speaking another language.
I just said a Wi-Fi password out loud to you, like.
Let me just thread that down. Very cool. Yeah, I drive. I've been driving since I was 5. I think a bit before.
Jesus Christ.
Farm life, Mole. I grew up on the farm, so like I was. I think I learned
Was
to drive.
tractor the first one? Usually
No,
is,
we have like an old bomb car on the farm always. So like we'd have names for it. Like our first one was like, I think it was like a 1970s bright green, like a Kermit green, and we called it Kermit.
Once it starts running out the clock, you basically
someone
it
you know,
gets
like you
dedicated to the
can't
farm.
you can't get it roadworthied again or like whatever. So you just go like now we have another one. We have like a little ute that's now my nephew's and he's 7 and he drives it around the farm.
No way.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a great life skill for kids to learn from a young age.
Yeah, so like I think I remember the first driving like on Dad's lap, just like steering the car when I was like probably 3.5 or 4.
Wow.
And then I started learning to drive, and then Dad taught me how to drive the tractor, and then the big truck, and then But I can't drive I can't drive a motorbike.
Yeah, I grew up on motorbikes, and do you know, it's a life skill that really stuck to me. I think everyone, they should teach people how to just cook some basic stuff and drive a car. That's the stuff that should be taught in school.
And taxes.
Taxes.
Yeah.
Taxes, learn how to drive, and some basic cooking skills. Make yourself a spag ball, Mal.
Yeah, well, oh God. I remember, this is a funny story. I remember in primary school we had this, which I still loved it. It was one of my favorite things that we ever did. But we had when I was in grade 6 or something, we had a great grade 5, 6 cook off. And so what we did is like the whole week, like everyone got to come in and cook for the class and do that. And like everyone was doing different things. Like I can't even remember what I cooked. Oh, I cooked like an ice cream cake and like some, I don't know, fucking something
low key.
Something low key. Like ice
just
cream.
made a baked Alaska. No big deal, guys.
No big deal. And then I remember this one kid came in and he took out a frozen pizza from the box and just put it in the oven.
What a legend. What a legend.
That was so great.
My mother used to own a delicatessen back in the like late 80s, early 90s. And this is like obviously back in the day. I had a bake sale. So my mother gave me like apple tarts. She gave me like some really good stuff for the bake sale.
Right, yeah.
And like it was a bakery. So it was primo. Yeah. So anyway, my teacher comes in and goes, who brought this in? And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get into trouble for bringing in it's too good.
Yeah.
My mother had been doing the wages. And she had put like a couple of grand in cash that was in like a brown envelope, and it had somehow like gone in with like the stuff. So they found this like wedge of cash, like she's like El Chapo or something like that. And then my mother had to come in and get it. But like, yeah, it was like,
they're like give Danny better grades.
Yeah. It looks like some kind of like bribe. But yeah, I remember just going, wow, it was like a big wedge of cash. Like,
wow,
isn't that insane?
That's crazy. But yeah, I think life skills like motor. I think I'm a really good driver.
I've been to carry you. Yeah. I remember you were driving in Melbourne. You had a little Mazda.
Oh yeah, little Mazda too. I miss that car so much.
Yeah,
that was the first brand new car I ever bought. I worked my ass off and bought a car, and because in Australia, like that's what you kind of need. And but I love driving. I think, and I remember one of my exes was like, he used to tell me like he never used to like me driving because he's like, you're a bad driver, and I was like, I'll give you 2 guesses which ex it was.
Yeah.
Right, but he always used to be like, he would never let me drive like whenever we hired a car or whatever like that, and so I like got really like
couldn't handle the emasculation.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that was
that's
like
small dick energy.
Yeah, but I fucking I love. Have you ever been behind a jet ski? Danny?
Yeah.
Oh, like I don't know. Maybe
jet skis
is
are
it the
great.
same as being behind a motorbike?
Yeah, it's just a motorbike on the sea.
Okay, because maybe I should never drive a motorbike. Because
jet skis are hectic. Like I fucked myself up on a jet ski, and you get thrown off them real quick.
Yeah, but I remember I was like there, and the first time I ever did a jet ski, and I was like, and something came over me, and I was like, maybe this is how a man feels, or like when people really love like revving engines.
Yeah, you just want to scream in the wind.
I was like, like there's a photo. I did it in Malaga.
Like,
yeah, and then they were taking photos of me and my friend, and I'm just there like.
Yeah.
Like that. It's
Like
the funniest
when I'm on a
fucking photo.
motorbike, I'll open my visor and I will like, if I'm really stressed out and you're just like, ah, so you're doing like 100 and whatever, like kilometers
Yeah,
an
but
hour.
it's like, oh.
Screaming in the wind.
Yeah.
Where like being on a motorbike, I was in Vietnam last year.
Yeah.
And just the freedom and just, I was actually like laughing out loud, like something in a movie. Like I never get like that. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing I do in my life that makes you actually go, whoa, and you're actually, you're like the Goonies or something. Do you know that level of joy?
Yeah, I think that's like what you need now as adults. You need, like, that's how I feel when I'm like snowboarding, like I'm watching the Winter Olympics, and I was like, even though I'm shit at it, I
doesn't
feel,
matter.
You feel like a kid,
You feel
and like
free.
Yeah, it's like there's something, or surfing,
And
like
you can't look at your phone.
Yeah.
I think it's really important, and it's weird because like sometimes the freest I feel is when I'm on the road, like I'm in a motorbike in Vietnam, and the worst I feel is if I'm driving to a gig, it's pissing rain.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Ireland, right? Even in the fast lane, you're on the right hand side. Like say you're doing the speed limit.
Yeah.
There's always going to be an Audi or a BMW that will just drive up your arse and aggress, and they're just like, whoa, and they can't go anywhere. Like they see that there's a car in front of you. I can't go any faster. Then you move in, and then they're like, it's so pointless.
And they drive past you, and then they look at you like,
and then you're behind them, and now it's like, well, brilliant. Now you're they drive you. It's always a Beamer or an Audi, always.
Road rage is crazy. My brother was just in the States a couple of weeks ago, and he was doing some work, and he was in Seattle, and apparently like some guy was like took this guy's car spot, so he got out of the car and shot him. Okay.
Chill out, mate.
I know, but I think like that's whenever someone's behind me and I'm driving, like I get like, I think like generally I'm not an angry person, like everyone, like I don't get angry. I'm not like, I'm very collected most of the time. But road rage, Danny, like when I'm in a car, I turn into like a demon. And even my boyfriend last time, like when we were home over Christmas, I was driving a lot. And because like it's my mum's car and I don't want to let anyone else drive.
Subaru, like.
Yeah, I'm like, no, babe, you can't drive. It's my car, like because of the insurance. Like I got really like nervous, right? So like I'm like there, and I turn into it. Like I'm like, you fucking cunt, move out of the fuck. Like what is it about
crushing cans of UDL off your head? Get out of the way, you fucking smoking.
And I'm like, what are you fucking doing? What do you think you're doing, cunt? Huh? And I just get so like bogan. It's like this character comes out of me.
Yeah, it's in genetic.
I know, right? And my boyfriend's just sitting there being like, who are you? Like
I've had a good few near death experiences. I remember working on a building site in Australia, had this really old Commodore, and it was like a 5-litre. We don't get cars that big in Ireland. You never get insured in it.
Yeah.
And it was a piece of shit. I think I got it for $1,000.
Oh wow.
And but it was like a proper boat. It was like, and it was rear wheel drive, so if it rained it would just be like sliding all over the place. And I remember like you'd be driving home and you just like people would just cut across lanes, no indicator out, like that. I had a few near misses and I'm like, I'm gonna die over here.
Yeah, I think like driving in Australia is like, it's pretty hectic, especially like out.
Do you know, I've just reminded me of something. This is Jesus, like nearly 20 years ago. What's the name of the main bridge that brings you into Melbourne?
The Westgate Bridge.
Yeah, that one, right?
Yeah.
We were on the Westgate Bridge, me and a mate of mine. And I don't know if we were working. We were definitely coming back into Melbourne. I think we might have driven from Adelaide, possibly.
The worst drive in history, by the way.
But anyway, we were. That's the Nullarbor Road, isn't it? Where it's
no, like from no, that's further on. That's from like Adelaide to Perth. Like
that's the what's the one that's 150 kilometers of pure straight?
I think that's Adelaide.
No, that's Melbourne to Adelaide.
Yeah, it's just straight. It's just
and it messed with people's heads.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
We were driving over Westgate Bridge. And there was a guy who was a tradie, right? And he was in like it was like probably a Volkswagen, Toyota Hilux pickup, the one that's really common, right?
Yeah.
And it was a proper like tradie mobile, you know, like gear in the back and everything, right? High vis vest, the whole lot.
Yeah.
And we're driving and we're like, what's going on? And we saw sparks on the road in front of us. And like everyone's like doing 120 kilometers minimum, right?
Yeah.
We were like, it's obviously someone's exhaust, you know what I mean? Dragging along the motorway.
Yeah.
As we get closer to it, there's a fucking petrol pump hanging out the side. So the petrol nozzle is in the side of the ute, and the thing, it's like something out of Spider-Man, is whipping off the road. So he's driven away from a fucking petrol pump, right? No. So the metal cable is how it didn't even go on fire, right? So everyone's beeping at him, and I never forget him. He's really grey beard. I think he might have been drinking or something, but he's red faced. And I remember we were all like beep 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 beep, and then eventually like 10 cars beeping at him. He's like what? And it's like he's like, and then everyone's like, and then he just goes, oh fuck, and he just saw him pull it over, like. But yeah, he drove away from a petrol station with the pump stuck. How would you not feel the pull on that?
I mean,
How would you not hear the like?
true. But have you driven a Hilux? Like,
Yeah.
fuck it, they're pretty intense.
They've got a good pull on them.
My dad has one, and it's his like prized possession.
Be a great ad for a Hilux that you can literally pull a petrol pump out without even noticing.
But driving in Australia is crazy. I remember like I used to do a lot of driving like to and from like Adelaide or Sydney and stuff for gigs and whatever because it was cheaper. And I remember I was driving back from Sydney one night after like doing a bunch of shows in Sydney, and I hadn't slept much the night before.
Yeah,
like
it's,
I was
it's
like
a good 12, 13 hours. I've done it once or twice.
And I'd slept 2 hours. I was so hungover, and me and my best friend were like, let's just fucking go early and get it out of the way. And we literally like we drove the entire way back, but I was so delusional the whole time. And I was driving, and then like I saw this kind of like bump like on the road like ahead, and I was like, what's that? It's like something. And as we drove closer, my friend was like, oh, it's a dead kangaroo. And I was like, oh, my Mazda 2.
No way.
I was like,
Which is the size of a dead kangaroo.
I was like, I'll just drive over. It's fine.
No.
It was all bloated and shit.
Jesus.
So I was like,
it's like driving over a cow.
Yeah. I was like, Google. And then I was
Poor
like,
kangaroo.
And then we kept driving. And then like half an hour later, I was like,
Oh no, was it all stuck under your car?
yeah, it was like a griddle. So it smelled like roast beef. Like,
Oh my God. I remember driving. I
was like, what is that? It's a nice smell.
We drove. I did a couple of road trips in Australia, but the two biggest ones I did was Perth to Broome.
Right.
And then me
God.
and a few mates are working in Broome. I was working doing concreting for the pediatrics wing of a hospital there. We did the foundations for it. And then I think we sold that car, and then we bought another car, and then me, one of my pals, and two other mates drove from Broome all the way to Darwin.
Oh wow!
So it was kind of like 2.5 weeks, and then 3. It was one of the best experiences of my life. It was amazing. But I do remember crossing into the Northern Territory, and I remember like it was so hot and it's so different. It's different climate. It's different. Like humidity's really high. It's like 85-90% in some places. Yeah. But I remember driving, and I remember like this smell coming in through the vents. I was like, oh, and it was like a dead kangaroo. But like there was so much roadkill. Yeah. Because the road trains, which are these trucks that have like sometimes 3. It's like 3 normal massive trucks in a line. Yeah. Those road trains are not stopping for anything. Yeah. So they literally just bounce kangaroos. So the further north you go, there was just hundreds of dead animals on the side of the roads just decomposing and like coming through the air vents. Oh no. It's so gross.
I mean, that's driving in Australia for you.
Like, it's you know what? It's certainly not boring. Like I drove down from Dublin to Cork for a gig recently, and I had stuff on the next day, and I was like, I'm just gonna get down and back, but it's over 500 kilometers. But I was nearly 7 hours driving, and on the way back, I was like, windows down, slapping yourself in the face. I'm like, this is too much. And then when you're within an hour of getting home, you just want to get home. Do you know what I mean?
I know that feeling because like I used to like even now if I go back to Australia, I stay at like my mum and dad's place, which is an hour away from Melbourne, and like there's just times where I'll do a gig and then come back and because when you don't drive, like I haven't driven properly for a long time, but you sort of get used to it. You build up a resistance to it.
Muscle memory.
Yeah, muscle memory of just like driving, and you used to it. But like now, because I don't drive as much, when I get behind the driver's seat and drive for a long time, I get so tired. Yeah. Like exhausted. Whereas I can like fly like 2 flights in a day. Like
not a bother.
Yeah.
During the Fringe last year, my granddad passed away, and I drove to Edinburgh. So I've been driving to Edinburgh for years because the Ryanairs and stuff are just, they're soul destroying. So what I do is I load everything in my Jeep, I drive up to Belfast. I usually try and do a gig in Belfast the night before. Then I get up early, get the ferry across, and having your car in Edinburgh is a big difference. Like being able to go for a swim, being able to just go drive, meet a pal, anything. It's just having a bit of independence.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, and I do miss that. And like, but I think like I did a lot of shows in the US, like, and I actually traveled a lot around like the south of the US, and was like doing shows and driving in between like states. So I pretty much went from like Texas and then all the way through like Louisiana, then down through Mississippi.
And, like Texas is massive.
Yeah, through Mississippi, Alabama, up to like Nashville, across to like Georgia, and like so it was like I did so much driving. After that, I was like, you have this dream of like I want to drive like Route 66, and then you like do it.
No,
and
absolutely not.
And then it's just like gas station coffee after gas station coffee after IHOP, like after it's just
you're
the
so
worst.
Unhealthy.
So bad. But there was one part of the journey where I think we were doing shows I want to say it was in San Antonio, and we had to get to Houston, which I think is a 4-hour drive, if I'm not wrong. And we didn't have a car, and we needed to get an Uber, and we were like, oh, we'll just get like an Uber, it'll be fine. And of course, no one was accepting the ride. Like no one's accepting the ride. And then eventually this like guy accepted, and he came up, and we're like, hey, like we need to go to Houston. And he's like, yeah, that's okay. You're going to Houston. We're like, yeah. And like I was with my friend who's black, and and you know, we were just kind of, you know, Texas is a bit of a weird,
Yeah,
like,
sussing it out a bit.
yeah,
like,
sussing it out. And we're like, okay, fine.
and he's probably sussing you out that you're not like Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, and then anyway, we're like chatting. We're like, yeah, we're comics. Like we're doing shows. Like blah blah blah. And he's like, okay. And then I think halfway through, like we sort of said, oh, like is it kind of dangerous out there? And he's like, don't you worry, I'm well protected. And he had a gun on him. And that's why I was like, oh, that's why he took us.
Yeah.
Because he like,
you're
otherwise.
not gonna mess around.
Yeah, not going to mess around. He could just turn around and be like, poof, poof, like.
Yeah, like even like Jesus.
And then like the whole time we just sat there in the car like this.
If
like,
you got a
just,
4-hour taxi in Ireland, it would genuinely cost you like 500-600 quid.
oh, yeah, I know.
Like
I think,
it's insane.
Well, there was one time I think like in the US, I was doing a show in Milwaukee and had to get to like Minneapolis, and which is like a 6 or 7 hour drive. And we were taking a bus, and buses in the US are like,
oh man, they're buses and like
you think Flixbus is bad?
Spirit Airlines and stuff is
I've seen some shit on
end of the world.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, and we just sort of looked at the people who were getting on the bus and we're like, this is not going to happen. And I think like we just like, it's not very safe. Like it didn't feel very safe either.
The vibes were off.
So we just we called an Uber, and this guy rocked up who ended up being like a road comic from like 30 years. Like he was like this old guy, and he was so cool. And he's like, yeah, no worries, I'll drive you to Minneapolis. And like it was this big car. I just slept in the back, and then like we got there at like I think at like 5 a.m. in the morning or something. We're like, are you gonna be okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm cool. I'll drive back.
Some people just have it in them, like they love it.
Oh yeah, I mean he got it like $600 or something for the trip, so like it was fine. But like at the end of the day, it's just like crazy.
When I left the Fringe that time, I came home, so I had to get back for a funeral, but I couldn't drive back because I didn't have the time.
Oh yeah,
because like I didn't have. You still have to get the ferry to Ireland and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I went to fly home, and I booked a Ryanair because it was like obviously it wasn't planned.
Yeah.
Then realised my driving license, I only had my license with me because why would I bring my passport? You know what I mean? My passport was in my drawer. So my mother had to leave my passport and her 1 litre Volkswagen up, which I then had to drive 300 kilometres across Ireland in a 1 litre little Pope mobile, no Spotify, just raw.
How did you get through immigration though without your passport?
You can fly Aer Lingus with a driving licence.
Oh no way!
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't
so
have to fly
I had to book
Ryanair.
an additional Aer Lingus flight, and then I had to get the Ryanair back. It was just worst of both worlds.
What a nice airline to let you like, but only if you're Irish, right? You can fly on your Irish driver's license.
Yeah, I'd say maybe UK as well. I think it's accepted as a valid form of ID.
Because it's more domestic, I guess. It's not like an international, like...
I don't know why it shouldn't be an issue.
Well, yeah, true. I mean, I don't want to say, like, you guys are part of the UK.
yeah.
don't want to get any hate messages.
But listen, you don't have to show your driving licence when you're going up to Belfast, so a driving licence should be sufficient to go to the UK.
True. Like. I feel like... but I think driving on motor moles, like, I think the biggest moles in this are, like, either road rage or if you have an accident. Like, I think that just brings out, like, the worst in people.
And, like... You know, and like accidents obviously happen and sometimes people make mistakes. I remember scuffing a woman's car once.
Yeah.
And she went to a garage. She's like, it's going to cost 240 quid. And I didn't want my insurance premium to go up. And it was like, you could have taken it off with a wet face cloth.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was just like, for me, I always try and let that stuff go. But like, someone claimed off me actually, like, geez, I was only about 25. I bumped into the car, no damage on either side. I actually spilled a Fanta. I went to Burger King. It was the day after my birthday. And I remember a Fanta fell. Like it spilled and I went to grab it and I was slowing down in traffic and I bumped into this guy and him and his girlfriend were like and then I get a couple of weeks later and everyone's like, oh, they won't claim. He did claim and he got like 10 grand or something off my insurance, but my insurance doubled for 5 years. Yeah.
That's
it was the
crazy.
Scummy, and I said, he rang me, I was at Electric Picnic. He's like, my neck is in bits. And I was like, it fucking will be, you absolute scumbag.
Yeah.
And he's like, I had to go to physio. And like, there was no damage to either car.
But did you have to pay anything?
My insurance did, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but you didn't have to pay, but your premium went up.
My premium went up, so my insurance was double for over 5 years. It's because of pieces of shit like that insurance all over the world is a nightmare because people fraudulently claim for nothing all the time.
Yeah, I think I had the same thing. I think I was 21. I was living in Sydney, and I was like, 19. I was, and I was driving, and the same thing. Like I just like it's not even like, and back then we didn't even have phones or whatever. Like, it was like I literally was like I think changing the station, or I looked down, and then I just like looked up, and the woman in front braked really quickly, and I just kind of like stopped, but I like tipped her like literally, and I got out, and I'd never had an accident before. And so you're supposed to take photos and all this sort of stuff. And I got out, and again, she had 2 kids in
They're
the back.
just waiting for
And
it.
she was like, my neck. And I was like, oh, and she's like, oh, my back. Oh, and I was like, oh, and she's like, give me your license. And I was like, I didn't know what to do. And I didn't get her information because she didn't give me hers, which is a crime, by the way. So she took my license, and like, I saw the back of the bumper. There was nothing, nothing there. Yeah. And then that night I got a call from the police.
Wow.
And the police were like, so we can see that you've been in an accident today. And I was like, an accident? I was like, no, I just like touched her bumper. And they're like, yeah, I'm sorry, that's a negligent driving claim. And it was $350. I was at university in Sydney. I had like literally no money. Danny, I had to call my parents and be like, can you help me out?
What a scumbag.
$350 for negligent driving claim, 3 demerit points off my license. And then, so obviously she reported it to the police, and then
so she could claim.
So she can claim. And then nothing came. And then 6 months later, I got a bill for like $5,000.
To that lady, I hope your neck is sore for the rest of your shit life.
She was an osteopath. I still know.
They're just playing the game.
I had all the paperwork, and I was like, one day I'm gonna go and slash this bitch's tires.
But
and
some people have no conscience with that.
No conscience,
Like,
and
they've
like the
no
kids
problem.
were in the back as well. And I was like, no, Eleanor, like just karma. Like I hope your kids have to go through this like one day in their life.
I
Like
hope your kids have spinal issues.
no, I just hope they have to go through the same thing that I went through, because it was horrible. Like
It's the scummiest way to make
yeah.
money, and there's a whole group of cohort of people all over the world in every country who think that they're somehow entitled, like, I got a claim, and they say it like they got a promotion.
But it's just so shit.
Such
Like
an
they get out and
ugly
they're
way.
like, oh, my
you're
neck.
anyone who fake claims is the scummiest scum. Like for me, you're up there with like the vampire pedos of Epstein Island.
But that's why like insurance is such a like everyone needs
But
to
it
have it
fucks
now.
everyone.
But, like,
they think, oh yeah, we're just getting the money off the insurance company.
Yeah.
It fucks everyone.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It's chain reaction. But it's just so funny. It's like act better. You know, they get out. They're like, my neck.
Oh,
my
yeah.
neck. Like, just come on.
It's insane. Like if a Dublin bus ever like had like a little thing or tip, whatever, like they'd be like, ugh,
well, that's like the trams trams. I don't know about other countries, but in Melbourne, like if even if the tram is at fault, you're at fault because you're in the way of the tram. So no matter what happens.
I've nearly been clipped by a few trams in Melbourne in my time, and I was like drunk and I was backpacking there for sure.
I was in Footscray,
Footscray.
which is a very notorious Vietnamese kind of area.
Great food.
And I saw this like woman behind the car, and she was like sitting there. I think like she looked very scared to drive in Melbourne, and she was like there. And then this tram was like turning, and like she was like going straight, and she was like sitting there, and the tram just turned and took off the whole front of the car, and she was sitting there without even moving. I think she was just like stunned. She was just like,
Oh, that's horrible.
but she would have to pay for the damage to the tram as well.
Oh man,
because she's in the way of the tram.
What a bummer. I remember I actually failed my driving test twice.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I had to do it in Wicklow Town. Who actually, Andreas, our videographer, passed his test in Wicklow. Do you do it in Wicklow Town? Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Is it difficult?
If you pass Wicklow Town, everything in Wicklow Town, it's like Edinburgh by 1,000. Like even the downhills are uphill.
Oh, really?
All it is uphills everywhere.
Oh,
and
no. So hill starts.
It's one of the most difficult places. If you pass your test there, you're laughing. I failed the first time. And then I was
Why did you fail?
Oh, like someone went to step out and I didn't like brake in time. But like there's so much going on and you're on an incline for so much that you're just like, you're
trying not to roll back.
Yeah, you're just... And in Ireland, we're one of the only countries in the world where you have to reverse around a corner.
What?
That's part of your driving test in Ireland. You have to reverse around a corner.
Jesus.
To show you can do it. To show you can use the mirrors and stuff, which is completely illegal. When are you going to do that? Maybe if you're in a heist and the police are chasing you like Grand Theft Auto. I swear to God, that's real. Yeah.
I mean, I can understand a reverse parallel park.
No, reverse around a corner. It's one of the worst parts of your driving test because you're looking in the mirror and you're seeing if you're in line with the curb, and then you're like, and then you're like, you're like granny turning. You're kind of going, and you're like edging around.
Fuck. Okay, I have. Now I feel better driving in Ireland. It's better than my boyfriend. He never did a test.
Oh, really?
He just paid for a license.
My granny did that, and she used to have a truck license because they kind of did an amnesty, and they were just tick whatever vehicles you want. So for like 30-40 years, my granny had a truck license.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my nonna didn't really know how to drive very well. Like, she was just like... I was always a bit nervous driving with her in the car. I was like...
My granny did some wild stuff with me in the car. I remember one time she was driving and she drove on like kind of like the motorway.
Right.
And I remember there was arrows pointing towards us. I was like 12 and I'm like, Nana, why is there arrows pointing towards us? And she just goes, oh God. And then she like cuts across. She was driving like the wrong way. And then she goes, you don't tell anyone about that. And then sometimes if we were in traffic, she would just go up on a curb, like headscarf on and everything. She would just go up on a curb and would drive around. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can't do that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I feel like driving with like old people is kind of fun.
they don't care. Zero fucks
There's
given.
zero fucks. And like they have to, and like a lot of, I don't know what it is like here, but when they get the license renewal, I don't know, like they have to, I think it's every couple of years, but in those years, like they're not driving.
Oh yeah, in between, I remember failing a motorbike test in Finglas. And one of the reasons I failed is because these kids threw a bottle of Lucozade at me while I was doing the test.
Oh no.
Yeah, they threw it at I was just like, you having a laugh? Like, and then I one of my points was knocked off because I reacted incorrectly to a hazard.
Which is what?
Because I didn't predict that they would fuck a plastic bottle at me. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm like, what could I possibly have done there differently?
Yeah.
What do you want me to do? Like, put it in a recycling bag and get like the 10 cents back for it?
What's the pass rate? Do you like, is it like a couple of
The
things?
motorbike
like,
one's really hard because it's an A category, which means you can drive a motorbike anywhere in the world.
Oh, wow.
But a big one.
Yeah.
So like, which is certain death in most places.
Yeah.
So they make it really hard because they don't want you to be able to pass it. Like, which I get. Like,
which is crazy. I remember I passed on my first try of my car because I've been driving since I was 4 moles. So,
of course.
But that doesn't mean like it's like, you know, and also where I was in Melbourne, like you're taking the test for Victoria, but you're in regional Victoria, so you have no idea about trams, but you still have to like
learn
do the
all
whole
the
like the
tram.
hook turns and all of that kind of stuff as well. Have you ever done a hook turn in Australia?
What's that?
Where like it's like where, so say you're like driving up here and you want to turn right, but there's tram lines, so you have to go off to the side and then wait for the lights to turn green on the other side, and then you turn with the traffic and go on there.
Okay, yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah.
It always blew my mind driving in the States as well that you can go right if it's a red light.
Oh yeah, I know.
That really fucked up my head when I was there.
That would fuck me up as well because I was always like, oh, like
yeah, and they're like, go, and they're like people beeping behind you.
Or the 4 stop signs. I'm like, just build a roundabout. I know you hate the English, but just build a fucking roundabout.
Yeah, like the most stressed I've ever been in my life was driving in Tenerife. I remember I hired a car. It was like a Renault Megane or something. And Tenerife or any of the islands in Spain is absolutely, they drive like maniacs. Everyone's beeping. But it's just so aggressive. And I was looking at YouTube videos about how to get off roundabouts, and I was like, I'm doing it right. That's what I was doing during the day.
You just have to be like, you have to be so like confident and just
you
drive.
just got to go for it. That's why I kind of like Vietnam and stuff, because there are no rules. It kind of flows easier.
Yeah, I think there's like when there's too many rules. Like, I mean, in Italy, I've had so many near-death experiences driving.
Oh man, the Italians are like
this.
They're probably in the top 3.
I think so. Like the north is a bit better, but as soon as you start going like past Tuscany into like past Rome and that, like I remember like there was once where even like there was just 2 trucks and another big truck in the middle, and like someone tried to like merge into us, and we're like, we're gonna
just final destination. Like,
it was crazy. And then we did what was it? I went with a friend of mine, and he's quite a good driver. He was a bit older than me, and we did like the Amalfi Coast.
Yeah.
And so you know the Amalfi Coast, like Sorrento is like all along the cliffs and like whatever. And we kept seeing like all the review mirrors, or not the review mirrors. What's the side of the mirrors? Like the side on the side of the car.
What the side? Yeah, like just your mirrors.
Mirrors, yeah, right. And a lot of them were just like broken off and just like hanging like from the cars, and we kept seeing this like, oh, like so many cars are like missing.
Yeah, but
like,
it's just from them driving.
It's
like,
just from them because like it's so close to everything, and they were just like, there was a side swipe and do this. And I remember I got out of the car, and Danny, like I was like white knuckled, like I was just holding onto the car the whole time.
I was like on
a
Tenerife,
cliff.
like it took me like an hour to calm down. Like
the Greeks are worse though in the Greek islands. Like when you get off into somewhere like Mykonos or Santorini, like it's literally like just a straight incline up,
Smell
and the
a
buses
clutch.
have to do like this, and it's all gravel road, and it's like one tire off, and you're like off the side of it, and like these bus drivers are like smoke, like you know they've got a cigarette, they're just like
just there got their little beads.
and then like you know like they're doing like the full round things of like the bus, and you're like I'm gonna die.
See, it's quite expensive in Ireland, on it. Like unless you lived in the country and your parents put you on their insurance, unless you pass your full test.
Yeah.
And then it takes ages to get your test in Ireland, so it's always going to cost you a load of money.
Wow, yeah.
So like for a lot of my friends growing up, like it was really hard for us to get driving because like if your parents didn't pay for it, like it was a lot of money.
But do you have to do a certain amount of hours?
No, you didn't back then. Now you have to do like 12 lessons or something before you do your test. I remember my mate, he had a good job in like his 20s. He was working for like a credit card company or something like that. And they went to some event, And he was kind of like, he was just embarrassed that he didn't drive, but like he lived in the city and like he probably could have afforded a car, but he didn't need one. Like he was able to walk to work every morning. And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like two of his colleagues were like, oh yeah, we drove up. And they were all saying, oh, what road did you take? And then he just kind of was too embarrassed to say that he didn't drive or that he got the bus to this hotel. She's like, oh, I just took like, you know, the N11 or whatever. And then it just all, things got really out of control. And then they're like, oh, well, listen, if you know the way, we'll just follow you back. Oh, no. And he's like, no. And then they were like, and what car do you drive? And he's like, he's not into cars. And he's like, oh, just like a Fiat Punto or whatever. Oh, yeah, they're great on the thing. And he's like, yeah. Oh, no. The whole lie got so out of control, right?
Oh, my God.
That the next day, they're all on the piss, you know, drinking dinner, all that stuff. The next day, they're like, oh, sure, we'll just follow you back to Dublin. And then, then he was like, he's trying to like lose them in the car park. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll meet you at the thing. He's going out looking for a car that didn't exist. And then it got so bad, he went into the toilet and he just hid and he put his feet up on the toilet and locked the door until they just went away. So like they didn't WhatsApp him around and they're like, that's weird. Where's he gone? He's like, oh yeah, sorry, I must have just missed you. So you literally had to go and hide in the toilet until they left him alone.
God. That is a mole if I've ever heard one. No fuck. Well, I think that's the moral of the story. Don't lie about your cars.
If you're going to lie, put your feet up on the toilet seat if you're hiding in there. That's a top tip.
And if you ever have an accident, just don't be a mole. Yeah.
Don't give them your driving license.
Yeah. Don't be like, oh, whiplash.
Film everything.
Thanks so much for listening, guys.
Yeah.
We are super excited. We've got some live shows coming up. So please look down the bottom for dates and follow, like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. You know what to do.
And thanks for all the messages, the DMs, all the texts, everything. We really appreciate it. And we're going to be using some of them in our live shows as well, which is going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be super fun. All right. We'll see you next time.
Peace out, moles.
Fat ass mole.
Fat face mole. You better rack off your mole. Dumb mole. Dumb mole.
Dumb mole. Dumb mole.